You are magic. Whether you consciously do magic or not, you are magic. You are magic because you are innately a creative being. Hi, welcome to Kick-Ass Switch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you are watching a video about shadow work and how that comes into play with the fact that you are magic. And this is something I don't think I've ever done before. I'm basically just going to take out a piece of what I talked about on Tuesday's podcast and repeat it here. And that is because I got the words, finally. I've been trying to say the same thing year after year after year, every year around Samhain in October, coming up on Halloween. I talk about shadow work and try to articulate why shadow work is so important. And then when I was doing my show on Tuesday and I was talking about it, I was like, yes, this is what I've been meaning to say all along. And then I listened back to the podcast and I was like, I have to repeat this for people who listened, who just need to hear it again, and for those of you who don't listen to my podcast, because if you get this one piece, it can completely change your life. It can change everything. And this goes for those of you who are strictly law of attraction practitioners, to anyone who's practicing witchcraft, or to those of you who are just very spiritual. You are magic, meaning you are a creative being. If magic is creating change in conformity with your will, it's people who harness this natural, innate creativity on purpose to create change. What a lot of people in the law of attraction community especially, but what a lot of people just in general miss, is that every cell of your being, every energetic particle of you is creative. Your shadow is a part of that whole, and your shadow is just as much, if not more, creative than the conscious part of you. And it's probably, if you're gonna argue that it is more creative, it's probably because you're kind of like a giant iceberg. We're only seeing like the tip of the iceberg. You're only seeing the tip of the iceberg of what is possible for your life and of who you could actually be, because so much of that potential is hiding out in the shadows. And the problem with the material that's hiding out in the shadow, if you don't know, is comprised of all of the rejected parts of yourself. The parts of yourself that your family of origin, your culture, your society, TV shows, magazines, the parts of yourself that you are convinced were unacceptable, that you tried to suppress and hide. You can never throw those parts of you away. You can never get rid of them because they are innately part of you as they were meant to be. And so they just go on creating, because that's what they do. That's what you are. That's what every part of you is. So they're creating all these experiences for you all the time. I say they because there's many different aspects of you hiding out in the shadows. But if you just want to call it, the shadow is creating your experience probably more often than you are consciously creating it. That is why a vision board, positive affirmations, carrying a bunch of crystals, that's why that stuff doesn't always work. That's why people hit a wall and get frustrated and lose faith in magic, because they don't realize what's hiding out in the shadows is highly creative and is creating their reality for them. That is why we do shadow work. We go in there, we shine a light in your shadows so that you can see what's in there and you can bring it back into wholeness. Because like I said, you can never get rid of those parts of yourself. They are you. They are who you are. So in shining light on them and bringing them into your awareness, it allows you to use those parts of yourself deliberately and creatively and part of your magic, and to see the gifts that are hiding out in your shadows, because so much of what makes you awesome, so much of what makes you great is what pushed other people's buttons or didn't conform to what was acceptable. But that's what makes you special. That's what makes you like deliciously weird. So that is why I'm such a big advocate for shadow work, even though I talk so much about the law of attraction. To me, the two go hand in hand. And I can't imagine being a magical practitioner without having an ongoing shadow work practice. So yes, this is just a big commercial for shadow work. Shadow work is awesome. And don't forget that the shadow is part of you, and all of you is magic. All of you is creative, whether you are conscious of it or not. So that will help you realize and remember, like, oh yeah, this shadow work stuff, it's really important. If you want to do some shadow work that is not at all scary and highly creative and have the support of a group of kick-ass witches around you, you can join those of us in the Psycho-Spiritual Wheel of the Year program and do the winter transition module. I will put links around. You can find it around here. There'll probably be a little pop-up. I recently learned how to do that. Annotations, they're called. I'll try to put an annotation right here, and if you click on it, it'll take you to that module. And until we meet again, happy shadow work, happy October, happy almost Samhain. Much love to you. Peace.